Welcome guys to Clearly Focused. I'm Kayla Ely, I'm your host. I just love giving that little introduction. Sometimes people don't know how to say my name or they don't know what they're listening to. So I just wanted to say hello again. And if you don't know me, my name's Kaylee. I am so lucky to be able to do this with you guys, and I am just very thankful that you guys are here listening to another episode of my podcast. If you guys are loving it, please leave me a review. I would absolutely love to hear what you have to say, hear the kind words. Just like your clients leaving you good reviews, I love it when I get a good review too. It helps other people, it helps push this podcast up a little bit so that it recommends it to other people who might enjoy it. And we love that, right? Because the more people that we bring in to listen to the show, the more people we're helping. And we get to do that together. So give me a review, please, if you are loving it. And also don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I have a podcast page. It's just Clearly Focused Pod. And I love it. I like to share little bits here and there of things, like little snippets of episodes and extra little tidbits from shows. And I like to ask questions that you guys get to, or have you guys ask questions I get to answer. And I usually do that on that page. So it's just kind of nice to have a place, a little space dedicated specifically to this podcast over on the IG world. So please bear with me. My voice is still all kinds of messed up from losing it a couple weeks ago. And I am ready for it to be gone. Not my voice, ready for this weirdness of my voice to be gone. But today we are doing a little Instagram episode. I feel like we probably mentioned Instagram in almost every episode we talk about. I should probably do a tally to see how many times we talk about Instagram. But this one is things that we should not be doing on Instagram. And if you are doing any of these things on Instagram, now is the time to stop. And I will get into why as we get into each reason. But before we do that, we have our 30 seconds of silence. And our 30 seconds here today, I just want you to prepare. Instagram is a crazy beast of a social media marketing tool that we have that we get to use for free, which is awesome, but it's just a lot of times we can let it make or break our business. We give it a lot of power and we get really stressed out about it, and I don't want you to bring any of that fear or worry or stress or negativity into this episode. I want it to be like coming in with a fresh perspective, ready to understand what it is on Instagram that we should be doing. So after that 30 seconds, we can go ahead and get started on what not to do on Instagram. All right, guys, so things we are doing on Instagram that I feel like we need to stop right now. If you are doing them, I want to preface this with there's no shame. These are just things I personally do not like seeing on Instagram that give me the ick, and I want them to stop. So if you do them, there's no shame. I don't judge you for it, and everyone can do whatever they want to do. So if you're like, you know what, I don't care if she thinks we should stop doing it, I'm gonna keep doing it because I like it or it works for me. Freaking go for it. This is your business. You get to do whatever you want to do. And I feel like this is kind of tying into one of the things that I'm going to say, but you get to do whatever you want to do. And that is like the amazing thing about running your own business and doing your own thing on social media, because you ain't got no boss. You are the boss. So just take everything with a grain of salt. Know that this is not being like, ew, judge, ew, I'm never going to be friends with other photographers who do this. Anyways, we're gonna start with the first one. This is a big one for me. I really don't see it as much as I used to. I know in 2020 it was big. It was big. And I even did a couple things like this too. And then I was like, oh wait, that kind of makes me feel slimy. I don't like it. But bashing your clients in any form. It even makes me nervous to do it on your close friends. I don't even care. I'm just nervous that someone on your close friends knows the client that you're talking shit about, and somehow word's gonna get back to them still. I just don't like bashing clients in any shape or form on social media. Even if you're making a joke in a reel or something like that, or you're talking about how clients don't say thank you, or like all they say is thank you when they respond, or sometimes they don't respond at all, or how they ghost you, or how just whatever, or like, oh, this person's asking me to edit something and I don't want to do it. Just don't bash them. I know it can be frustrating, and I know it can be hard because you want to, like, typically you go on Instagram and you might complain about that because you're just like, oh, I need other photographers to relate with me, and like they'll comment and they'll, you know, it's gonna go viral because everyone can relate to it. And it's hard to not use things like that as a way to go viral because something is relatable to a lot of people. But I just really think it's tacky. I think and somehow, like I said, even if doing it on close friends, like I just truly feel like bashing your clients on, no matter if it's a big thing or a small thing, I don't care how small it is. I just don't think it's nice to do. I also just don't like talking crap about anybody, but if I need to vent, or if I'm frustrated with the situation, or I need advice on something, I either reach out specifically to a couple of close photographer friends, or even like most of the time I just go to my husband or my mom and I'm like, what do I do? But then if they aren't really giving me advice because they don't understand the industry, or they don't really understand the situation as fully, then I might go to a fellow photographer friend, and ask them privately if I can just, hey, can I just vent? And I'm really pissed off about this and I need someone to tell. Like, I need to just be mad or whatever, or like, hey, I need advice on the situation, like, can you help me? But just doing it publicly, just don't do it anymore. Please don't do it anymore. All right, the next thing is complaining about editing. I can't tell you how many times I've seen photographers post on their stories, whether it's a video talking or just a picture of them with writing over it, but they talk about how they're drowning in editing and they are so behind and like they're so busy and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes I feel like the reason people are doing that is because they're trying to let their clients know like that they have a lot of editing and that they're running late and they might miss their deadline and that kind of stuff. Or they're complaining about editing because they have a lot on their plate and they want other photographers to relate and be like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm drowning in editing too. Because trust me, I get it. I can be drowning in editing too. Like, I currently am drowning. I'm drowning in culling mostly, not really editing, but drowning in culling. And I totally get it because it's hard to not want to just be like, oh, I'm so frustrated and I'm so like stressed because I'm so behind and I just really need to catch up. And I want to just send out put one story up that says I'm behind on editing and culling and blah, 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 and be done with it, instead of having to send out messages to all my clients and say specifically like I'm behind. But truly, when you complain about editing, you did that to yourself. And I have to remind myself of this too. When I'm drowning or behind or swamped or whatever, I can't complain to my clients. I'm not going to complain to Instagram, which my clients then see, even if it's on my close friends. Like I said, I just worry that someone's going to see it somehow. But like, in all honesty, you were the one who overcommitted and did than you could handle, or you were the one who decided to stay up late instead of getting up early to edit or cull before work or something. Like, you could and life happens. Don't get me wrong. I know life happens. Sometimes emergencies happen. We just had crazy storms that blew through last night, and like I lost power for literally 6 hours. And luckily it was towards the end of the day, so I was already like pretty much done for the day anyways. But it's like, I can't cull or edit or anything without power because I have no Wi-Fi. I have like, my laptop's dead, you know. I get life happens and things like out of your control put you behind and give you, there are different circumstances, but truly, when you complain about editing, to me, it's giving me the vibe that you overcommitted and you didn't manage your time well, and now you're complaining and you're stressed and you're trying to put that emotion or that like stress on someone else instead of taking accountability for doing that to yourself. And I know that's harsh words, like I'm giving you some tough love here, but it's just, I receive it as when photographers, if they post their editing queue, even as a client, I would see it as like a whole, like, oh my God. It does nothing for them. You're just posting a list of everything that you have to edit, but you're not really giving them any dates or like anything. You're just posting like the names and the order that you have to do it in. But it's like, I don't know if that means it's going to be done next week or if it's going to be done in 10 weeks. Like, I have literally no clue. It's just a list of people. And I can see I'm fifth in the line. Cool. But like, what does that mean? I don't know. It's like they obviously know you're editing on their stuff because you shot the photos, so you have to be editing them now. So it's kind of obvious to post an editing queue because you're obviously editing their stuff. Like that's what the next step is. So I just feel like editing queues are obvious and annoying, and when you're complaining about how much editing you have to do, it's like the 5 minutes you took to like share the story and write the captions and make it all pretty and probably had to refilm it 5 times because you said something wrong or you blubbered and want to start over or whatever, and that whole time you could have been editing. So a little tough love to you, babes, but again, this is just something that I don't personally like. I don't like to post editing queues. I don't like to complain about editing. It's my work. It's not like you see CEOs of Starbucks getting on there and complaining about how much shit they have to do and why they're so far behind. And if you guys could just stop ordering coffees, and that would make my life go better. You know what I'm saying? Like, just put it into perspective a little bit and be like, okay, that makes sense. Being mean. Just why? Why are you being mean? If you're doing this on Instagram, stop. It doesn't matter like whether you're commenting on something or if you're sending somebody's profile to somebody and talking shit about them behind their back. If you're commenting on their reel, ladies, you feel me. Most of the time it's the gentlemen who are hating in the comment section. You can scroll through all my reels and I bet you're gonna find some good trash comments on there. Sometimes my followers go after the people, which I really love, but most of the time I just don't respond because whatever, it's giving me engagement. Their comments are boosting my engagement anyway, so thanks to the haters. I don't delete them because I want everyone to know that it's real. Like, I get that shit too, you know? It's like everyone gets hate comments, you know? I don't want someone to, and it just takes too much time to go through and delete all the negative comments, and then if they go back and they see it, they're gonna re-comment the shit that they already commented before. Trust me, it's happened. So I just leave it. It's like, I don't even care, and a lot of people don't want like negative energy on there, so they will literally like remove the comment or whatever, but like I said, I don't have time for that. I want everybody to know like the reality of what Instagram is. You get hate comments, it sucks. But just like, why do we have to do that? Why are we being mean to people? I just don't understand. I know you, how do you have time? How do you have time in your day to take out and go comment on someone's post and be like, these could be better photos? Or like, you know, you're not using the right focal length or whatever. Like, why? What? Why? Don't be mean. Why are you being mean? Just stop being mean. And I'm sure most of the people listening to this aren't mean people. But sometimes it can happen where you see somebody's photos and maybe they're new in industry and you're just like, whatever. Instead of like looking at judging their photos, you're like, oh, well, crooked is trendy right now, but like their horizon line is crooked, or like they cut off their feet or whatever. Instead of like commenting like that, or not even commenting, but thinking that in your head, like be nice and build them up and comment on it and be like, oh my gosh, great work. Like, love to see you out there doing, like, creating, whatever. Just hype each other up. You do the opposite. Every time you maybe scroll past someone's work and think of a negative comment to say, make yourself leave a positive comment. Just try that instead. And let's change the way Instagram's working. Okay, ghosting. Ghosting, not forming a community / engaging with others. These are all kind of related because I don't want you to post and ghost. I don't want you to like not show up on your stories. I don't want you to not form a community. Like, you need to be talking to people on the app and engage with other people. So just like using Instagram as it's supposed to be used. It's a social app. You should be social on the app. Don't just show up, post a story, and then never look at anything on the app, or don't post a story at all and you just kind of scroll, but you don't like or comment anything. Like I just said, we need to be building each other up. If you're sitting there looking at your work and you're like, wow, my engagement is crap. Nobody's liking my pictures. Nobody's commenting on my pictures. Ask yourself, do you do that? Do you do that to people? Because the answer is probably not. And maybe you have like 5 photographers that you follow that you will hype up all the time, or like you see their work and you comment on it every time, or you'll search their page specifically to go hype them up all the time. But that's why your page is not getting as much view either, is because other people are doing the same thing. They're only gonna go support the same 5 photographers that they support every time, and that's it. That's where they're gonna leave it. But if the algorithm actually favors this, if you are engaging with other people, if you're commenting on their posts more than just emojis, it's like emojis don't really count. If you just do a heart emoji or a fire emoji, like, it doesn't count. Words. Commenting words on people's photos, giving hearts on their stories, responding to their stories, sending their posts to other people. If you are doing this with other accounts, Instagram is going to see you using the app and they're going to be like, oh, we're going to reward this person because she's trying to increase other people's engagement, so we're going to increase her engagement. It just like, they reward people for using the app and spending time on the app. So when you're on the app, instead of mindlessly scrolling, actually try and hype your fellow photographers up, comment on their work, comment on a picture of them, tell them they did great, whatever it is. But you will see, if you do that consistently every day, or at least 5 times a week, like during the work week, whatever, if you do that, you will see a huge change. If you do it consistently, you will see a huge change in the way that your reach and your engagement goes. I know on days where I'm like not showing up on my stories, I'm not posting anything, or maybe I just post something and I close the app and get out of it, I get like way less likes, way less comments, versus if I'm actually spending time on the app, it like comes back to you tenfold, if that makes sense. So you want to create a community, you want to engage with other people, other people's accounts. You want to do what you want people to do to you, right? Isn't that the golden rule that we learned when we were younger? Like, treat others as you want to be treated. So if you want other people to be commenting on your stuff and sending your stuff and liking your stuff and sharing your stuff, then you need to be doing that for other people, right? Golden rule, baby. All right. If you are worrying about the algorithm, which I know I just talked about, oh yeah, if you're engaging with people, the algorithm's gonna like you. But you shouldn't be really truly worried about the algorithm. Honestly, it changes every day. I just saw a post on Threads from Shannon McKinstry, and she said that the Instagram algorithm is like our periods. Sometimes it's like on fire and feeling good, and then other times it's like down in the dumps or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that's so true. So you really can't rely on that. Like, you ladies know how it feels to be so up and down with your womanly phase, that the algorithm is the same way. It's literally like, you can't predict it. It's not always the same. You can give what you can give, especially mentally and emotionally. Do what you can, but like, stop worrying about it. In the end, just let it go. Like, if it's not, try a different tactic. If it's really, truly not working for you, but you want to keep working at it, then try a different tactic. But in the end, sometimes it's like, I'll post reels I'm like sure are going to go viral, and it doesn't. It totally flops, and I don't know why. And sometimes it could just be the time of the day that I posted. Sometimes it could be the song that I use. Sometimes it's just like I'm too early or too late on the trend. You never know. It's just stop worrying about it. Stop stressing about it. Just post what you want to post. Like, say what you want to say. Be on there and like engage with people. Be nice. That's all you should really worry about. Worry about your feed. I've talked about this in a previous episode before. I know as photographers, we are chronically obsessed with the way that our pictures look on our Instagram feed, but let it go, baby. I am here to give you permission to stop worrying over the way that your feed looks. Just post your images on your feed. Don't worry about the flow, because people don't notice that, because they're not trained. They don't have the trained eye like we do. They are not trained photographers to know that this visually flows well versus it visually does not flow well. They just want to see that you're active and you're actually posting pictures, rather than being like, they haven't posted anything in 6 months. Like, are they still doing photography? They want to see themselves in your photos. They want to know that they can count on you to be a photographer, and they like seeing their pictures that you took of them on their feed. So just post pictures on your feed, be consistent about it, and you're going to see a lot more. I'm sure you're going to see a lot more engagement, but you'll hopefully also see a lot more inquiries come through, because you're actually being active on Instagram and you're posting your work, and people are seeing your work and you're putting it in front of their face, instead of not posting anything and then just like wondering why your inquiries are down low and all that kind of stuff. So just don't worry about your feed. Let it be. Your website is where you should be more particular about the images that you're posting, but not your Instagram feed. Doesn't mean you should post work that you don't post work that you don't want to attract. It doesn't mean like post everything you shoot all the time ever. It just means don't worry about the way that it flows. Like, get a post, design it, all your slides, and then just schedule it to post for the next day. And whether you batch it for a week or a month or whatever it is that works for you, set it and forget it. Don't stress about it, baby. All right, not posting on stories. If you're not posting on stories, you should be. I'm trying to feel like, how does this grammar work? If you're not doing these things on Instagram, stop. If you are doing these things on Instagram, stop. So if you are not posting stories, then you should stop not posting stories. That's where I'm trying to get with my brain. Thanks for sticking with me. You should be posting on stories. If you are not posting on your stories, then you need to be showing up. It's not only a good way to show your face to your clients every single day, but it also, again, helps boost the algorithm. And this is how a lot of people see sales and minis and promos and all kinds of stuff that you're running. So you need to be showing up, and people can heart your image. And like I said, you need to be hearting other people's images, liking their stories and stuff like that. But stories is where it's at, people. Don't sleep on stories. So if you're not posting stories, then you need to stop not posting stories. If you are not posting about your offers, stop not posting about your offers. You need to start posting about your offers. And this kind of ties into the whole thing about not posting on your stories, because like I said, people will see what you're selling. If you have a product to sell, if you're running a sale on prints, if you're doing a mini session, this is where you advertise that stuff, is on your stories. If you don't, like, I can't tell you how many times I forget about products that I sell in my shop, and I'm like, why is nobody buying this? And I'm like, oh, it's because I never talk about it. I literally never talk about it. And I promise you, the day that I post about my presets, someone will go and buy my presets. It's like, oh, duh, because I actually talked about it. That makes sense. So post about your offers, whether it's on your feed or on your stories or however you want to do it. I mean, obviously email list is like the way to go too, but we're just talking about Instagram here. But post about your story, or post on your stories about your offers and stuff, and don't be scared to do it multiple times. Like I said, you can post about, I have a lot of things, like when I sell products, I'll be posting leading up to the release, but then a lot of times I forget and I stop posting about it. But it's like, no, you have to continuously post about it. Does that mean every day? No. Maybe every few days I might post about an offer or something that I'm selling, because you don't want to always be selling something to someone, because that feels really greasy. But is greasy the right word? I don't know. Sleazy, yucky, slimy, icky, whatever. Insert whatever word you want to use there. But definitely be talking about your offers, because nobody's going to know about your offers. Nobody's going to buy your offers if they don't know that they exist. So, and then the other thing you should not be doing on Instagram is not showing your face. If you don't have your face on as your profile picture, I need to see who you are. Who is she? What does she look like? When I meet her for a photo shoot, I don't know who I'm looking for. Does she have blonde hair or brown hair? Is she short, tall? Is she got long hair? I have no idea. And on your feed, there's a good rule of thumb that, like, if you scroll to where like your feed fits the whole phone, if there's not a post of your face in that feed, then there should be. So I know every phone is a different size, so it's kind of hard to judge that, but like, usually every 9 or 10 posts, I feel like, which sometimes feels excessive, especially because you have to have the photos of yourself to be posting every 9 or 10 slides. But in all honesty, if you just like go swap headshots with a friend and do 4 or 5 outfits and only post a couple from each time and mix it up, people aren't gonna know that, hey, she posted something wearing blue last time and now she's posting wearing black, and now she's posting something wearing blue again. So she's using the same photo. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Don't post the same exact photos that you did in the blue as you did the last time, but nobody cares that they're the same outfit that you just posted. It's just, you're overthinking it. Again, stop overthinking it. Stop worrying about the algorithm. Stop worrying about your feed. But you have to show your face. And it's scary and it's hard sometimes to get pictures of yourself done, because we're used to being on the other side of the camera. But I promise you, if you trade with a photographer, it's actually fun, because they're probably feeling the same thing that you're feeling, and you guys can relate with that. But you can also learn how to pose each other together. And then you can swap with multiple photographers and meet multiple photographers and start building this photographer community around you. And you can have these photographer friends that you reach out to privately when you want to bash a client because you don't want to do it on your stories anymore, right? So I wanted to keep this episode bite-sized for you guys. If you think of anything else that's happening on Instagram that should not be happening, then let me know. But truly, I just don't like seeing any kind of negativity at all. Posts, comments, reels, whether it's about other photographers. Oh, one more thing. This made me think. Don't bash other people's work or how they work or how they run their business. Everyone does it differently. I had thought of it earlier because I told you guys it's going to tie into something that I was going to say later, and I almost forgot to say it. But yeah, however you want to work is how you should work, and like talking shit about other photographers and how they work is not cute, and it's not what works for them, especially because sometimes you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe they have another full-time job and they're not full-time. So judging the fact that someone only posts once a week or something like that, maybe they work 60 hours a week at their full-time job, so they can only post the one time, the day off that they have that they remember to post. Like, don't be judging other people for that kind of stuff. Or maybe they talk about something that they're doing, like they're on their stories and they're talking about something, or they post a reel and they're talking about like a way they run their business or a hack that they use in the way they shoot or the way they edit or whatever. Don't be mean to them. Don't like bash what other people are doing. Don't judge what other people are doing. You're just like, cool, that's a way I've never thought about doing it before. I don't know if it would work for me because of XYZ, but you know, I'm glad they found a way that works for them, and then move on. Just move the frick on, okay? I don't like seeing negativity. This community is crazy, and sometimes the crap that happens is out of control, and we need to be better about supporting each other and building each other up. So no negativity on Instagram, please, and thank you. And again, let me know if there's anything that I missed that you guys think is happening on Instagram that needs to stop, because we are trying to build a new world here, okay? So that's it, folks. I'll see you on the next episode of Clearly Focused.